Once upon a time, there were two frogs. They were brothers. We'll call them Croak and Ribbit. And Croak and Ribbit went out one day, and they decided they wanted to get some food. And they decided to kind of go outside their usual comfort zone of the woods and kind of try looking around to see what else there might be. So they went into a neighboring village, and they were poking around in the house, hop, 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 Croak and Ribbit, going around in a farmhouse. And the farm wife, I guess, had come and gone that morning, and she had brought in a big pitcher of cream, and she had poured it into the butter churn to get ready to churn, but something had distracted her, and so she hadn't gotten around to it. Now, frogs don't know a whole lot about dairy products, because that's not their usual thing that they do. They were looking for flies and other kinds of interesting gourmet frog fare. So Croak and Ribbit were hopping around the house, and they got up onto a high ledge, and they were hopping around, and they must have hit a patch of something slippery, because the two of them slipped and bonked and fell into the butter churn, which was filled with cream. So there the two of them are, you know, Ribbit, 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 Croak, Croak, you know, going like crazy, trying to get their way out of the butter churn. But the cream was real thick and and the sides of the churn were real greasy, so every time they put up their little green pads, they just kind of... and they just kept falling back into the cream. They weren't getting anywhere, and they just kept trying and trying. The cream, you know, frogs don't really like cream particularly, I don't think, and so they weren't really happy to be there, so they wanted to get out. They were, you know, they just kept kind of flipping and wiggling and going and trying to pull their way up, but every time they put their pads up, they would just slide on down the edge of that greasy churn. And they just kept paddling and paddling around. And frogs are very good swimmers. They do well in these kinds of situations normally, but they're used to swimming in pond water. A little pond scum is okay, but heavy cream, not so much. So the two of them are kicking and paddling away in there. And, you know, for 5 or 10 minutes is okay, but, you know, 20 minutes goes by, half an hour. Croak and Ribbit are starting to slow down. They're exhausted. And Ribbit kind of turns to Croak, and he's like, listen, bro, I don't think I'm going to make it. And was that Croak or Ribbit? I forget. So Croak turned to Ribbit, right? Yeah, whatever. And Ribbit turns to Croak, and he's like, no, come on, man. You got to keep going. Never give up, dude. Keep going, keep paddling. Something will happen. We're going to make it. And Croak's like, no, man. I'm at the end of my strength. I'm not going to make it. I'm so tired. And Ribbit's like, no, you got to hold on. Keep paddling. Something's going to happen. I just know it's going to be all right. No, man, I can't make it. I'm slipping and falling. And poor Croak sank down into the depths of the heavy cream and the churn. And there's Ribbit left. No! And he's crying, but he just keeps on paddling, and he's like, I can't give up. I lost my brother, but I'm not going to give up. And he just keeps going, and he's paddling. He tries doing the backstroke for a little while. He tries doing the breaststroke. A little bit of side. Oh, man. And he's getting like a full cardiovascular workout, which is great. But on the downside, he's afraid he's going to die any minute because his strength is totally giving out. But something in him just keeps him going, and he just can't give up. And he just keeps kicking, and he's slowing down. And just at about the point where he thinks it's all over, I'm going to go to that lily pad in the sky, he feels something solid beneath his foot. And he's like, huh? And he kicks over with his other foot, and he feels something else solid. Before he knows it, he stops, he slows down, and he's like, there's something underneath him holding him up. And at first he thinks, oh, maybe it's his brother coming back from the dead. Oh, Croak, is it you? Like pushing up. No. He looks down, and he looks around him, and he was so busy paddling that he didn't notice that the cream had gotten thicker and turned yellow. He had kicked so hard that he had churned that cream into butter. So Croak was lost. It was the end for him. But Ribbit had survived. And he crawled his way out of that churn at the end. He was exhausted, but alive. And he made it back to the forest. And he told the story. And in conclusion, I can only say that the farmer's wife that day, when she finally came back, was greeted with 2 surprises. And I'll leave you to figure out what those are. So that is the end of my story of hope and perseverance and never giving up, Croak and Ribbit.